Get 'em.
Welcome, folks. Y'all come on in and make yourself at home. This here, well, this is the Rolling Thunder Podcast, your home for all things Rolling Thunder. This episode is brought to you by Mossy Oak, because everything is better in Bottomland. Kent Cartridge, quality matters, performance counts. Shen Gear, waterfowl gear that is built better. And Benelli USA, dominate the skies.
Alrighty, welcome to this episode of the Rolling Thunder Podcast. Spence, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing all right. Man, we've got a good friend of the brand here with us today, Mr. Brooks Tinsley. Brooks, how are you?
Man, doing phenomenal.
Man, y'all staying busy over there?
Yes, sir.
If anybody hasn't been keeping up with you on social media, you just got back from a little bit of traveling, coming back from Canada. How was y'all's trip up there?
Man, it was incredible. This was our second year going, my second year going to Canada. We hunted with Thomas Gilpin, Old Dog Outfitters. He's out of Alberta near Calgary. Spence has been up there with him. He's just got an unbelievable spot. He knows
he's the best in the He's the best in the business.
Yeah, like I don't have anything to compare him to. I know you do, Spence. I mean, I really haven't ever done a bunch of guided hunts, but I have done some, and like his operation is first class. Great place to stay. In my opinion, like he just really knows waterfowl in general. So, you know, I know there's some outfitters that outfit in spots that Ray Charles could go and shoot him in the ducks in. But like he really just, you can tell he's got a really good knowledge of ducks and geese.
Yep.
And I think that, you know, goes a long way. It goes a long way with me. I would hate to be paying to go hunt with somebody and you can tell they don't know what they're doing. He knows.
Spence, are you headed back up to see Thomas this year?
I'm not. No, I couldn't pull it off in the calendar of events this year, but I would echo what Brooks said. Thomas is as knowledgeable as any waterfowl hunter I've ever hunted with. I've hunted with a bunch of different outfitters in Canada and in the States, and there are definitely Thomas's area is really good. There are definitely better areas in terms of just sheer quantity of waterfowl available to see. But Thomas himself, his knowledge, his team makes up for that in such a way that you wouldn't even know that. I mean, you would think if you're his customer, you would think that you're in one of those areas that's just thick with them. And then if you kind of back away from him, you go, dang, that dude is really getting a lot out of a shallow well. I guess I don't want to talk down his place because his place is his area, I guess you could say, is awesome. It's just not, you know, it's not most desirable if you're picking anywhere in the whole province. But I mean, I'm telling you, the man absolutely knows ducks and geese. He's one of the best all-around waterfowl hunters in the game. I mean, really.
Yeah, looking at videos, you know, like Saskatchewan, where it's almost all a big flat delta, similar to what you'd see in Arkansas or Mississippi. This area is like more rolling, and it's crazy. You drive an hour and hardly see any ducks and geese out the window. And you're like, well, we'll see what happens. Next thing you know, it's just like they're coming out of nowhere. And like Spencer said, they're tucked away in these potholes and they're not feeding far from water. And, you know, the knowledge of the area, you got to have it. And they burn a bunch of fuel, kind of finding feeds, and that happens everywhere. But it just seems like you said, I hadn't really thought about this, Spencer, but yeah, there's just not. There are areas where it's a ton of waterfowl, but just that area in general, it's not like some places I've seen in videos.
Yeah, there's areas, I'll put it to you this way, where there's like 5,000 and 10,000 bird, snow goose feeds kind of all over the place. And so when you ride around, you just sort of feel immersed in like, oh gosh, there's birds everywhere. You know, that's kind of that's the feeling you get. And those kind of places, outfitters have the ability, if they don't have a great mallard shoot for tomorrow morning, like their backup plan is we go put a whole bunch of white rocks and lay flat in the field, and you're gonna shoot at a bunch of white geese as they fly by. You know what I mean? And I'm not knocking those outfitters. I'm just saying those guys have. I mean, it's like having Freddie Freeman back fourth. Like it's just a strong advantage that Thomas doesn't have the benefit of. And you would never know that if you hunted with Thomas. I mean, his hunting is such a high quality experience, and the reason for that is because he's so good at what he does. That's really what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Well, we hunted with him for 4 days. The first 3 days were unbelievable. The last day was tough, but the second day of our hunt was honestly probably the best waterfowling day I've ever had as far as mallards and geese. It was really, really special.
And y'all were shooting honkers, big honkers on the deck.
Yeah.
Lightning the decoys.
Yeah. Dylan Farrell always used to joke around about, geese better than ducks. And I wouldn't go that far, but it was really dang cool to shoot these geese feet down at 20 yards. Yeah.
There's a difference between shooting specks at 50 yards and shooting snow geese, like shooting into a big wad of them that's kind of like barely decoy, trying to like spin it. Yeah. And then shooting into a group of 12 honkers that are like 15 feet in front of you backpedaling. I mean, there's a big difference between those three experiences.
Absolutely. having now done all three, I could say without a doubt, feet down honkers is pretty tough to beat.
It's pretty cool. And I'll also just add in there while we're singing Gilpin's praises, which he very much deserves. When you're duck hunting with Thomas, like you're shooting ducks on your boot bag. I mean, his hide is better, his calling is better. Like he understands what he's doing at such a level that it's different. Like when I took my family in September last year, I was kind of like hoping that none of them would ask me if this is what it's like when I'm in charge of the hunt, because I'm not as good at it as he is. I mean, it's Thomas is in another league. He's good at what he does.
I tell you what else he can do. He can blow that dang rolling thunder call. Unreal.
He's one of them that it's a good Indian. He makes all the arrows look good.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have the classic timber bark like Drake has or some of these other guys. But man, he can just really, really run one.
And a goose call too. I mean, he's proficient at his art anyways.
Yeah.
And he's a good dude.
To all those listening, there's still a bunch of ducks to be heading south. So something to look forward to.
Now, who all did you take on this trip, Brooks? Was this kind of just buddies, or is this a light group boot?
Yeah, it was buddies. Eddie came and filmed. A couple of Lost Break crew, and then just kind of filled in with some other friends that we've hunted with in Arkansas before. And it was, I think, 3 people's first time to Canada. And after the first morning, everybody was like, where do I send my money for next year?
Yeah. Well, you remember, I've always told you, because you and I have talked about Canada for years, and I always told you, don't start going to Canada until you're pretty sure you can go every year. Because once once it kind of bites you, it's like you kind of have to hollow out 5 days and make it part of your year.
Well, that I would say that what you said was not just your opinion. That's like a fact. Like it's if you're into duck hunting, if you're into duck hunting and you go, be prepared to want to go every year. Because as soon as people, we went late October, but as soon as people are posting stuff from their September hunts, I'm just like chomping at the bit.
This was our first year going up, and we were like 2 days into the trip, and we were already like, so next year when we come, we're bringing like we weren't even all the way through it, and it was like, we'll be back, like we know.
Yeah.
So you mentioned there being a lot of ducks still there to come south. Anecdotally, just compared to what you saw last year, like you feel like bird numbers looked good. I mean, I know it's not some hard science by any stretch.
I mean, based on what I saw, probably similar to last year from numbers. Spence could probably, say more to this, but I've heard from other outfitters, especially in Saskatchewan, that duck numbers are way up, and in the Dakotas, anecdotally, feet on boots on the ground and eyes to the sky, there seems to be more ducks.
Yeah, seems to be.
What have you heard, Spence?
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
I've heard from a lot of outfitter buddies kind of complaining about the quality of the hunting this year. A lot of them have struggled. Seems like there's a lot of smart ducks out there. But it also seems like there's still plenty of ducks. So,
yeah,
I think
weather plays a big role in that too.
Oh man,
if you had 60 days worth of cold like we had during the cold snap last January, you'd think, well, this is the best duck season we've ever had ever.
Yeah,
and there's more ducks.
That's exactly right. We ignore that. We get tired of saying that to each other as duck hunters. Like it's, oh, we need weather. Well, yeah, no kidding. But it's really true. Like what y'all saw the week y'all were there was largely, I would say, your quality of hunting was better because you had a good cold front. You had weather that motivated those ducks to move around. When I was there, I had no weather and a giant full moon. You know what I mean? And so there's some of that a lot of that goes into how good your hunting success ends up being,
Yeah. Well, so we saw that. So we were there for 4 days. Like I said, the first 3 days, lows in the 20s, highs in the, upper 30s, 40s. Ducks were flying around, ducks and geese flying around. Well, the last morning we were there, the wind switched out of the south. The low that morning was 34, a high like 58, and the ducks just didn't fly at all. When they were there, they just didn't fly.
Mm-hmm.
So, ducks be ducking.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. That's right. Well, tell us, Brooks, kind of give us a quick update on how are things at Light Boots, and then, let's do that next.
Yeah, we'll do Light Boots / Lost Break. But yeah, so Light Boots is great. This is kind of our time of the year. We need cold and wet, and hopefully it's about to get both of those today. So
yeah, I'm sitting in the rain as we speak.
We just came out with our little ankle boot, which I'm really excited about. I feel like it's the ultimate after wader boot. They're just super easy to get on, insulated, and they've been a big hit so far.
Awesome.
And then, I don't really like talking about Light Boots, but I love talking about duck hunting and Lost Break, our island. We have just put in a solar array at our island. That's our big accomplishment this off season. Spence, you've been there, but to those that are listening, we've got an island on the Mississippi River that you can't get to any other way than boat. I guess if you wanted to helicopter parachute in, you could do that. But so getting stuff on and off the island is difficult to say the least, and getting diesel there to run our generators to run the camp has been a pain in the butt. But we're going green now, Green New Deal.
Saving the planet one duck camp at a time.
Yeah.
That's the most understated description of how wild that process has been of all time.
Yeah,
I mean,
he made that sound real. We're going solar now. We're just not using fuel.
I was there when these boys bought a military surplus generator, like 2 diesel engines on a trailer, and put it on an old pontoon boat, pushed it up the river with a duck boat, got it off, managed to get a mouse nest out of it, and started it, only to forget to put coolant in it and have it burn up the first night it was running. Like I love talking to Brooks because they are not afraid to learn things the hard way, which is how I've lived my whole life.
Yeah, we've taken our lumps for sure. We actually blame that generator burning up on Murray, and he's got a long list of stuff he's tore up, and that's one of the many.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but none of the folks there really had any solar experience. We had a couple guys that had dabbled in some electricity, but it was pretty dang cool to we got the panels erected and got it all hooked up, and next thing you know, you've got power. And it was I've used little solar stuff for little trickle chargers, but this is my first experience with like true solar power, and it's pretty damn cool. Just to know you're harnessing power from the sun, pretty neat.
And y'all were able. Go ahead, Spence.
No, you go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say. So y'all got a full battery setup on there. Like, is it anybody who's not in the solar world? Like, are you harnessing enough power to like get you through a couple of days, or like what kind of like reserve are you able to get for you guys?
Man, I wish I was more knowledgeable too. I've done a bunch of research prior, but yes, we do have a battery bank system that should store us enough energy to last maybe 2 days. Our array is big enough that we're generating pretty decent power even on a cloudy day. But a sunny day, it's really putting out a crazy amount of power. So we can actually hook our generator up to this system to like charge our batteries as a backup if need be. So this season will be, I guess, kind of the true test, spending, 4 or 5 days up there in a row to kind of see how it performs. But we have been told it will do what we need it to do.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's fantastic. I expect the next thing that y'all are going to do is at some point in time, there's going to be a well on that island big enough to go ahead and flood the rest of the Mississippi River so that I can have water when I need it downriver.
Man, it's that Mississippi River has really kicked us in the nuts the past several years, and this year it kind of looks like it might do it again, but who knows?
You never can tell.
Yeah, so we're very dependent on river levels for flooding the island and the duck hunting being good. We put in a pump, but the ground through there is very porous, a lot of sandy soil, so it doesn't hold really well. So we really need at least an average level for the Mississippi River for us to kind of pump water and hold water and for it to be good duck hunting. But this is the third year in a row consecutive of like low Mississippi River levels. Last year was the all-time record. The year before that was the number 2. And actually just last week, it's the third all-time lowest Mississippi River in history. So 3 years in a row have set the records, which is not good.
Brooks, I was thinking the other day, every low water year is 1 year closer to a high water year. And kind of like when you're in sales, like you don't. It's not just a no; it's one step closer to a yes from somebody, from a customer. And when it comes back around, your hunting's pretty dang good when the water's up.
Yeah, we've proven that when the water's up, we've got a very, very special property. And like you said, it's like surely it's not going to be dry another year, but
it's got to come around eventually.
The forecast at least for the next 2 weeks is actually starting to look pretty good from a rainfall amount. We've been, I guess, over a month without a measurable rainfall at the island. But the way these weather patterns at least are looking now, there's a chance we could have some water to hunt opening day. So I'm optimistic as usual.
Yeah. Well, it'll all nothing stays the same. Everything goes in cycles, and it'll come back around. So,
well, I guess worst case we can run it back and go hunt some public woods in Arkansas.
Yeah. I can't wait for the river to get out, because I'm going to call and be like, man, it's been like 4 years since I've been to the island. Y'all got room for me tomorrow morning?
I got me and Kari Ball plus one.
That's exactly right. I'm not calling Kari. I'm actually going. I'm leaving in the morning to go hunt with Kari for a couple days.
Awesome.
So
you gonna hunt some specs, or what y'all gonna do?
We're going to visit Uncle Dennis in southern Saskatchewan.
Man.
Yeah.
Speaking of room for one more, I mean, I have bag will travel.
Delta flight leaves at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Meet me in Memphis. Come on.
Jeez, it's always that. Hey, can you be here right now?
Yeah. Good luck. I was going to say, good luck telling Laura that you've been home 2 days and you're leaving tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
I'm not helping you with that conversation.
Well, to go up there, have you hunted with Dennis in Canada in a while?
It's been a few years. It was, gosh, I don't remember. Maybe, I guess it was probably 2018-ish, something like that. He came up and hunted with us in 21, but it's been a minute since I've been to his place.
Yeah. Well, I am jealous. He is, you talk about somebody that knows a lot about ducks. I'd really like to spend some time with him up there.
Yeah, he's something. Well, how to change gears back to light boots? How cool was it to go in the Idaho Shields and see your boots on the shelf?
Man, it was very cool. So like we had to stop in to get some, I guess, fuel for our camp boiler stuff, because we were going to be kind of backpacking on an elk hunt. And Trace was like, man, I think they got our boots in here. And I was like, really? And like pulling up to it, it's like, whoa, I had never been to a Shields. For those that haven't been, like, it's a spectacle.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's like
unbelievable.
I can remember going into like a Bass Pro for the first time and being like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And like a Shields is like twice as awesome as Bass Pro. So going in there, and there was our boots on the shelf, and they had been selling a bunch of them. I think it was their third or fourth reorder. So that's really cool.
That's so awesome. That's a really cool feeling. And Shields is a cool store packed full of high quality inventory. Like they're on another level. There's not another outdoor store that operates on their level in a chain capacity.
Yeah, and I guess the cold weather, so our boots are insulated, and people that hold them have a kind of a hard time believing that. But the guys that went on this trip with us to Canada, I was like, make sure y'all are wearing light boots on this trip. And if not, I can get you a discount to order some. And some of the guys were like, man, I didn't know if they were going to be warm enough. And everybody there was like blown away. Cause we had one day where it was 18 degrees and everybody had light boots on and nobody had cold feet. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for anybody that hasn't run into you at a expo or event, maybe they haven't had a chance to see light boots in person, do you just happen to know a few places that carry them, that have them in hand? Obviously Shields in Idaho if you're driving through there, but anywhere else somebody get their hands on some?
Yeah, so we kind of started off with smaller sporting goods stores. We've just kind of gotten into some of these bigger accounts that have kind of more of a nationwide presence, but we're in all the lower 48. I think we're actually in Alaska now in some stores too. But man, it'd be hard to say exactly, but like I said, we're in all 48 states. Most of your decent sized sporting goods stores should have them. If not, reach out to us and we can let you know kind of the closest one to you to go try some on.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I don't have a pair of the ankle boots yet, but I need to snag a pair at some point.
Yeah.
I was actually just on a spec hunt with some industry friends. It was a kind of a camp that Mossy Oak put together, and Kelly Powers is one of the owners of Final Flight and 3-time world goose champion. He had a pair of the ankle boots or shorties that he had bought off the website, and I saw him putting them on, and I was like, man, do you know those guys? Do y'all sell their product? He was like, man, I don't really know those guys. I know Brooks is involved, and I know Brooks a little bit, just kind of through social media. And he goes, and I think we sell them in the store, but he said, I'm not real involved in that. And I said, well, how'd you end up with them? And he said, man, I just saw the advertisement. I bought them. I thought, and they're great. I was like, that's so cool.
Sweet. Well, Kelly, we do have them in your store, but yes, that's awesome.
He couldn't have told you whether they were rolling Thunder duck calls in there either. So
yeah, I love hearing stuff like that. No, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, just a genuine story. I mean, Kelly spends most of his time working on the farm and not in the store. But I thought it was really cool, So.
Well, tell me about Little Reno. What's going on at your place?
Yeah, we're full of water and like everything's perfect. We're just sitting waiting on mallards to show up. I have an absolutely astronomical amount of wood ducks right now. Yeah, we caught that big rain, Helene, and got a lot of our early water given to us by the good Lord. But we've had enough warm days that we've had to supplement pump to kind of maintain that water level since. But we turned the wells off last night in good faith. This rain would top us off, so we're just counting down the days.
Well, early water, in my experience, is just such a big deal. Both imprinting your first migrators, but in my experience, the people that have early water normally shoot them at least through December.
I hope so. Our place is it's just not historically a duck hole. So we don't have the benefit of just catching a whole bunch of those early migrators that are know that we historically have water.
Mm-hmm.
But we're slowly moving in the right direction. So
Well, with these rains coming, it looks like my crystal ball is saying some of these rivers could kind of jump up and maybe get out right here before the season, which would really help spread people out and should bode well for Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Yeah,
we're anxiously looking forward to it. So
I've been so nervous here lately. I'm just not even looking at gauges till we get a little bit closer because I don't want to get my hopes up or crush them too early. So
yeah. Well,
good.
everybody that I talk to that knows me, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
That kind of knows about the island and duck hunting for the past 2 months. The island going to have water this year. I'm like, man, I don't know about November 22nd.
Yeah.
Hopefully the good Lord provides, and we're really kind of at his mercy.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I was going to change gears and just ask how Laura's doing, and Corbin, are we still rodeoing? What's family life like?
My daughter, my turkey hunting buddy, who I was hoping was going to be my duck hunting buddy too. She is really fallen in love with horses, and she's a barrel racer, and she is as obsessed as I am about duck hunting. She's equally as obsessed about horses. So it's been fun to kind of watch her really enjoy that. You know, it's her deal. She goes and feeds them in the morning before school and after school and takes care of them. So it's for a 12-year-old, it's a lot of responsibility, and it's just been really just a huge blessing in our family.
That's awesome. There's something special about little girls and horses. They connect in a way that boys and horses just don't.
Yep. And you've got a daughter that has flown the coop, huh? Out of the house?
No, heavens no. She's still living at the house. She's out of high school, but she shows up late for dinner and eats leftovers a lot of nights. But everybody's still under the roof.
Oh, well, that's nice.
More nice.
Is she going to school somewhere?
She is, yeah. Maddie's at UT Martin.
That's
right. Campus here in Somerville. So she's doing school, and she's doing school, and she's working here at the shop. And today she's setting up a Stuttgart store. So
nice.
She's all over the place, and she's got a big appetite for adventure. I don't know where she got that from, but she feels like she needs to travel somewhere every weekend. And her mom's like, I'm married to two of y'all.
Yeah,
so,
she got it honest.
Yeah. So,
well,
yeah.
What's next for the island? You got solar power.
Yeah, we've got solar power. We need a 10-foot river level. It's at -2 today.
Okay.
We need a 10-foot river level to start pumping. So I would imagine the next week or so, I'm going to go and kind of make sure everything's ready to go. And if we can get catch some of these rains just right over the next week or so, I feel like there's a chance we'll have water on the island for the first time on opening day. We've gone 3 opening days in a row, 3 years in a row without water. So it would be really, really cool to spend opening day kicking some water on the island.
Yeah. Do y'all have any more, it seems like anybody who's got their own place always has some kind of improvement project just on the horizon. So do y'all have another big one y'all are going to try to tackle this next off season?
All of my buddies that come and help are hoping I say no. We don't have anything to do.
We're all done.
But honestly, I'd like to build one really big, nice blind. That's and I'll probably do that this year if it looks like the river is going to have a chance to get out. So that will probably be our next big project, like a legit blind where you could shoot, 12, 15 folks.
Mm.
So
I still want to help brush a blind one day on the island when a blind gets brushed.
So honestly, the first year we brushed the blinds at all was the first year we didn't get water on the island. So it's been like bad juju. We're not going to touch any brush until we know there's going to be water on the island.
My favorite part of that story is the first year of the island. there's a big yellow blind. Like there's a blind that's got yellow sides on it. And I think it doesn't have spray painted like big yellow or something like that on the side of it.
Something like that. Yeah.
And Brooks was like, man, we're not going to brush that blind because we're going to stand next to these trees. We're going to shoot ducks the way we do. I mean, really, I'm not making fun of y'all, but there was a lot of that, like, we're going to hunt like we do in Arkansas, like we're good at.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
About the last week of January, that river got up and got big, and those ducks all wanted to be in that 20-foot water. and Brooks was like, let's cut limbs. And there were no leaves on any limbs anymore. And there's no amount of limbage that covers up that yellow blind. And it did not matter.
Yeah. So kind of like you said, Spence, we had just planned on kicking water, standing next to trees, but the river actually got too high that year, too high to stand most anywhere. And man, we were, trying to hunt the edges of the water to places we could stand. And we did that for a while. And man, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a morning. It was very cold, and we were standing, and we were shooting some, but they were just piling into this bigger, deeper water. I'm talking thousands. And we tried to find some brush to brush this blind. There wasn't any to be found. And this blind was, I wouldn't say it was school bus yellow, but damn near like a hunting out of a school bus that wasn't brushed.
like a seaside pale yellow.
And we hunted it unbrushed and just freaking hammered them. And that was on sunny days too. So it goes to show you, if you can utilize some shade, that you can get away with a whole lot on a sunny day.
That, as I recall, that was the winter of 2017 and 18. And Dylan went up there to the island with y'all while I was at SHOT Show, and my flight home got canceled, and I spent the night in the Denver airport. And that was the morning that y'all hunted the edge and shot some, but they were piling in. The next morning, y'all went to the blind and absolutely mollywopped them while I was in the Denver airport waiting to catch a flight. And by the time I got there, the hunting had slowed down a little bit. But
man,
that river's undefeated.
Yeah, that isn't it a bad feeling when you're at home or at work and your buddies are just hammering ducks? It really kind of pisses me off.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
I mean, that's probably bad to say, but I mean, I'm just being honest, I mean, like, it hurts when you're like, damn, and I wish I was there.
And it feels like those are never the days where it's easy at work either. Like, it's already going to be a hard day, and you got them sending you pictures. Like, it's not a good deal.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, man, I hope that, excuse me, I hope that you guys have a tremendous amount of continued success at Light Boots. I think it's really cool what you got going. And you clearly have a whole lot of traction, which is awesome. And your expansion's been aggressive and good. And I hope that we get tons of rain and you don't have a 10-foot river. You have a 17-foot river, where you don't have to pump any water at all. It just does it on its own.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. No, that means a lot. And kind of echo the same back to you guys at Rolling Thunder. Just really cool to see you guys, I wouldn't even say grow, explode like you're doing. And so proud of y'all.
Well, it's really good to talk to you. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us. Please tell Laura and Corbin that I said hello. And I hope you have a great couple weeks here. Happy Thanksgiving, and it's November, buddy.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, kick Dennis in the nuts for me when you see him in Saskatchewan.
I will.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thanks again.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Yep. Thanks, buddy.
All righty. See ya.
Yeah, thanks.